Well, you clicked on the video, so you already know what's up. The ATF is back once again for those pistol braces. So at the end of last year, they had to withdraw their original document or proposal. I don't know what it's exactly called, but you know what I'm talking about. Don't be that guy to say, actually, it's called this. We got bigger fish to fry right now. So they had to withdraw it. There was a lot of public backlash against it. A lot of people commented on it. And December 31st of 2020, effectively, they withdrew it. So it was a win. A lot of people were celebrating, cheering, saying, yeah, we get to keep our braces, at least for a little bit. But we all knew that, well, they're going to come back once again. Here we are. Fast forward to June of 2021. They're hitting back twice as hard, and, well, yeah, they're really trying to ban everything. So I'm looking at the document off camera right now. It's on my laptop. And I'm just looking at that particular score sheet. And I'm sure if you've seen my video, I'm sure you've seen other people's video on it. I'm not going to be one to go through the entire score sheet, but I'll sum it up for you real quick, just as a quick overview. So they're going to look at particular sections of the firearm, and they're going to give it a rating, a 1 through 4, or a score of 1 through 4. And if your gun in a particular section gets a 4 or more, then, well, it's going to be ruled an SBR. It's now subject to the rules and regulations of the NFA. It's no longer a braced firearm. So now I guess we'll get into, well, I got some skin in the game, right? This is why I'm actually passionate about it. So first and foremost, it would just be super easy if everyone read shall not be infringed and they just left people alone. But unfortunately that doesn't happen. So here is, well, my answer to the government constantly saying, hey, you can't own this. Oh, you can't have that feature. You can't have this. You can only hold X amount of rounds. So I'm living in the state of New Jersey, and we are actually not allowed to have an adjustable stock, okay? And yes, this is a pistol brace. No one's in the room behind. Relax with the whole, oh, your muzzle, it's pointing erratically. Relax, and it's not loaded, okay? The magazine's just in it for show. So in Jersey, we are actually not allowed to have an adjustable stock. So this was the perfect answer. Why? Because SBA3 tactical brace, well, now it adjusts. Now, you might say, well, wait a minute. You have a brace on it. It's clearly got a short barrel. It's only a 12.5-inch barrel. But now you're rocking a vertical grip. You can't do that. That's an SBR. Well, believe it or not, this is one of those loophole guns, all right? That's cat's out of the bag. We don't have to try and be silent about it, right? ATF knows what's up. Believe it or not, this is actually classified as an other. And the reason for that is it was designed from the fact I have not changed anything about it other than obviously putting the flashlight on it, right? That's a stream light. But it was designed to be fired with 2 hands and obviously pistol brace. So it is, well, it's not a rifle, but it was designed to be fired with 2 hands. This vertical foregrip is mandatory to stay on it. So therefore it's not a pistol. And the overall length is over 26 inches. So it's not an AOW. So this is how, well, I got my hands on this gun. And this came with a letter from the New Jersey State Police Department saying that, hey, it's 100% legal for sale in New Jersey. So I had to pick it up, right? It's awesome. It's a little cooler than just a pistol AR. But moving on, what they're going to do in this particular bill or proposal, whatever it's called, right? You know what I'm talking about. Well, this wouldn't stand a chance, okay? Because I know if it has an adjustable brace, they're talking about it gets X amount of points. It might only be 1 or 2 points. But the bigger thing, I have sights on it, obviously. But I think the biggest part is the fact that there's a vertical foregrip on it. I don't think you're allowed, and if this thing were to become an actual, rule, I don't think you'd be allowed to have a vertical foregrip. I believe it would be 4 points automatically. So this would automatically be an SBR. And in Jersey, all right, we already have our own assault weapons ban. We kept it after there was the sunset clause in 2004. So I wouldn't even be able to keep this sucker because we're technically, if this were to now be classified as an SBR, I'd probably have to give it up. So I obviously don't want to see this pass through. I just want to be left alone, much like a lot of gun owners out there. Just for some quick history, I guess context, I don't know exactly who's watching the video. You might not actually know. Pistol braces actually do have some function, right? They were created in 2012, and it was originally intended for disabled veterans, right? Obviously, some of our vets lose limbs, and they still like to shoot, right? For a lot of them, it might even be therapeutic for them to be able to shoot once again. So, design-wise, your forearm is actually supposed to go through this little slip. Obviously, this Velcro comes off, right? Your forearm would slip through. Helps it. It literally serves. It's a stabilizing brace. That's what it's called, and it actually does stabilize, right? It really does a nice job. So it really does have function, all right? But on a serious note, all right, gun owners are constantly giving up ground. Like, seriously, since the government's constantly been inflating, it seems like our rights continue to be eroded. And I'm not just using that as lip service to rally the conservatives. I'm being completely realistic about this. It seems like gun owners constantly have to comply, and we constantly have to consent to this and give this up, and we never actually get to keep our rights. It's always a fight. So what we get with legitimately braced guns is, well, we get what we want, but obviously with the legal loophole. So for me, in Jersey, I wasn't able to have an adjustable stock. All right, so now I had to get an adjustable brace. And again, I could have just gotten a braced AR pistol, but this was cooler, right? So with that out of the way, you know, no one's doing any harm with it. You know, myself included. A lot of us are just looking to have a gun that we want, right? A little bit shorter barrel, just makes it a little more fun to shoot. It's definitely a fun conversation piece. But like the biggest thing is no one's doing any harm with it, right? And if someone is, I got no beef if then the government is going to go after that particular individual. Like if someone's actually doing some harm with their firearm, then they kind of deserve to be, I guess, prosecuted, right? But for the vast majority of gun owners out there, we just want to be able to own whatever gun we want to own. We're not doing any harm with it. We're target shooting, right? We're collecting, whatever it is. We're not hurting anybody. So I really feel like we should just be left alone. And that's really the extent of my politics, is you leave me alone and I'm going to leave you alone. But increasingly I see that if you just hang in the background, there's a lot of people that actively don't like, well, what I might like, or maybe if you're watching this video, they don't like what you like. They want to come after certain guns, tell you you can't have certain features. But seriously, like, I own something like this. I'm not doing any harm with it. So nobody as a gun owner should have to pay a $200 tax stamp, right? If it's something like it's an SBR, you're not doing any harm with it. And that's, I feel like we should have an honest conversation with people that aren't into guns to say, hey, listen, there's a ton of these in circulation. Maybe not this gun in particular, but braced ARs and things along those lines. If people didn't even know that the ATF was after pistol braces right now, they probably wouldn't even know that braces exist in the first place. In all honesty, if you know any friends that are anti-gun, they probably have no idea what this even is. They might not even know what a stock is, right? They might say, oh, that's just a part of a gun. So I really feel like it's a good time for us to have an honest conversation with people that don't know a lot about guns, to say, hey, listen, we go through our background checks to get whatever gun. And there's really no difference other than the barrel length and, you know, okay, it's got a brace on it with a hole in it as opposed to a solid piece like a stock. But the point I'm trying to drive at is, if you put this gun in my hand over here, and let's say in this hand I have your standard AR-15 16-inch barrel, all right, A2 flash hider, stock, like, yeah, the guns are going to look a little different, but in terms of functionality, they're pretty much the same thing. And with that gun in my left hand and this gun in my right hand, why should one gun have to be subject to the rules and regulations of the NFA? Simply because, again, it has certain features on it. But I guess even worse, well, now what happens if now said guns are going to be completely outlawed? Again, functionality-wise, they're pretty much the same thing. They look damn near identical. Just leave us alone. So, all right. A little all over the place with the video, but hopefully I got my message across. I just think it's annoying. That's kind of the best word I can use to describe it. I don't know if I've said that a lot in this particular video, but annoying is just the biggest kind of, or the best word that comes to mind, because it really does seem like gun owners constantly have to consent and comply and give up ground over here and over there to make people feel better. Like, when are we going to put our foot in the ground and say, hey, no more? We have this, we have a lot of fun with it, we don't do any illegal activities with it, it's time to leave us alone. So where's this gonna go? I have no idea. I don't have the crystal ball to tell you when the stock market's gonna crash. I don't have the crystal ball to tell you if the ATF is gonna withdraw this particular proposal as well. But I guess in the meantime, if you wanna comment on this particular bill, proposal, document, whatever it's called, you can do that. If you don't wanna do that, well, hey, I guess that's cool too, right? Choose what you want to do. But at a certain point, people really do need to realize this. At a certain point, the Constitution isn't what protects the Second Amendment. It's people with boomsticks, right? And I'm not telling you to go out and go do crazy things, but there's got to be a line in the sand for people, and maybe it's going to come at some point. I would rather it not come, so that's why I'm actually going to advocate, hey, if you can, comment and just let your voice be heard. I would much rather things be peaceful, but I unfortunately acknowledge that our wonderful nation was not built on peace and compliance. It was built on telling people to piss off. So, will that day come? Maybe one day, especially on the trajectory that we're on. Maybe we'll be around for it, maybe not. I don't know. But I think just for a small little piece of inconvenience, I guess you would say, to take 5-10 minutes to fill out a comment might save us a whole lot of hurt in the future. That's just my 2 cents. But on a serious note, I really do think at a certain point we got to tell people, this is our line in the sand, you got to leave us alone. Unfortunately, we do need to tell our non-gun loving friends, well, maybe why they should get into guns, or at the very least, why they should just leave us alone, because they're going to be the ones voting against us. And listen, I can welcome different political ideologies, but if you're going to start coming for something that I like, well, I'm going to have to retaliate against you, and maybe there's something that you really enjoy, and I'm going to have to start going after that, and maybe that'll get you to kind of, piss off. I'll be real with you, videos getting a little too long for my liking. I like to keep them a little shorter, but on a subject like this, it does deserve a little more attention to it. So just let me know your thoughts, all right? I'll let you go. Go be productive. Go enjoy the rest of your week, or at least try to. I know hearing stuff like this isn't the most promising news, but we do have to talk about it, and hopefully if we rally enough people, we'll get the ATF to just go away, at least for a little bit, and we'll just have to see what the future holds. So I appreciate you checking out the video. Consider sharing it, commenting on it. I really do want to hear your thoughts. But at the very least, I hope to see you again sometime soon.